back, guys, for another video. For this episode, I'm gonna be doing a how-to video on the surf rig I use and how I make them. And just so y'all know, you don't have to do it exactly the way I do it. This is just the way I like to. I'm pretty sure down the road I'll do some more modifications, just tinker with it. You can do it cheaper than what I'm going to show you, or you can even use better hardware and make it even more expensive, depending on your taste and what you're comfortable and have confidence in. But this is what I do. What's worked for me. I use it from everything to catch whitings all the way up to big reds, and basically all I have to do is switch out the hooks. That's it. And the reason why I want to do this video is because anybody who might be a beginner and who wants to go out fishing, surf fishing is an excellent way to get started. Here in Texas, we have a large coast, especially here in the valley. We have access to South Padre and Boca Chica Beach, and a lot of it you can access through your vehicle. If you have a 4x4, or if you're experienced, and if you're not, that's okay. There's some beaches that have parking lots and you can walk up to the beach and you don't have to worry about getting stuck. But the point is that there's so much access to it, there's so much space. You're not crowded like in some of the Bay areas. It's just very limited space that everybody launches from the one spot. So it's a great way to be out there, not necessarily be alone, but not be so crowded. So that's why I love surf fishing so much. You never know what you're gonna catch out there. There's so much stuff out there, and it's also a great way to fill the freezer if you need to. There's some great eating fish, and also some great sport fishing too, whether it be sharks, tarpon, jacks, bull reds, name it, and you can probably find it out in the surf. But for this one, it's going to be the simple rig I use. So anyone who is a pro at surf fishing or has a lot of experience surf fishing, please comment down below and let's help out somebody who might not know this, or even help out me if you see that I'm doing something that maybe isn't right, or you recommend I try something else. I'm open for criticism. We're here to learn. I'm always learning. And yeah, hope you all like it, and let's get started, man. £40 mono. I got about 3 or 4. I got like 4 feet, 3.5, 4 feet of it. It's right here. And the way I'm gonna start off is attaching where the weight is gonna be. So that's gonna be the bottom. I'm gonna use this little snap swivel. So a knot that I like doing a lot is a uni knot. The way the uni knot works is you get your line, beat it, and then you got your main, which is where the large piece of line is, and your tag, which is the small one. You get your tag and you do a small loop, and you put it together with your main, just like so. So here's your main, here's your tag, and that part right there. You're gonna get that guy, and you're gonna wrap it around the loop 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wet this real quick. Okay, it's wet. I'm gonna tighten it down a little bit, not all the way, so it's a little loose. It's gonna ride down the line, and then once it meets with the swivel, here's where I start putting more pressure, and then it cinches down, and that's not going anywhere. That's good. You can trim this later. Okay, so I go up about 12 to 14 inches, and then I get another 12 to 14 inches, and I make a big loop. I like big loops. You can make them smaller. If you feel like the smaller loops work better for you, then you can make the loops smaller. I like them. I like big loops. I like this to be moving around with the waves. So I got this big loop. Here's the bottom. There's the bottom part of the line, and here's the top part of the line. So this is where the weight is, and this is where you're going to attach to the main line. You get a big section of it, you bring it together, you make a big loop. The loop more or less is like 10 inches or so. Just make sure it's a little shorter than the weight, so it doesn't tangle up with the weight. What I'm gonna do, it's gonna shorten up with this next step. So what I'm gonna do is here's how they are. They come together. In this case, I'm gonna get the back line, and then I'm gonna start doing a swivel. I'm gonna start coiling it, but making sure I keep my finger in the middle of all the coils. So I'm gonna start coiling. Here's the front, here's the back. I run them together, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get the back, and then go forward, and then just keep my finger there and coil it around each other about 5 times. 5-6 times, that'll do. So you got coils here and coils here. What you're gonna do next is you're gonna get this big loop, and you're gonna feed it right through the middle where I told you to hold that loop through the middle of all the coils, and you're gonna feed the big loop right through there, just like so. You're gonna stretch. You're gonna pull the loop out as far as you can. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of saliva on either side, just so it doesn't burn the mono up, because you're gonna cinch this pretty tight. So you got it all the way through, and then you start pulling it on each other, making sure you keep that loop up big while you're cinching it down. Just gonna keep pulling and pulling right there. So the loop's already formed. You see how the loop got a little bit smaller? The loop's already formed, and then you got this right here. And then right here I already lubricated it, so I'm just gonna cinch it down. Like so. And then you got your first loop made. We're gonna make 2 of these. So this is the first one. You're gonna repeat the process about, again, another 14 inches or so. 12-14 inches. Like so. We're gonna do it again. Coil it, keep the sander about 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the big loop, run it right through the middle. Like so. Make sure you wet this down. It doesn't have to be saliva, just something so it doesn't burn the mono. Hope it slide. So keeping the loop wide, big and wide, and then just start cinching it down slowly. That's about right. And then I'm gonna, once you get it there, I'm gonna tighten it up. Just cinch it down as much as you can. You can get nice compact. The coils are gonna get nice and compact right up against the loop. There you go. The reason I like doing it this way is because it makes your loops stand out. So when pretend here's a weight in your main line, when it's holding on, it makes your loop stick out straight out. There's an easier way to do this, to have loops, but ultimately it makes your line go down like that, and ends up tangling. And like this, it helps keep the hooks away from the line, and you have all of this play for when the surf and the current's moving, and the bait's gonna be playing, and I think it helps it attract. Okay, so let's recap. You got the snap swivel where you're gonna have your weight, and then you run it up, you get your first loop, run it up again, get your second loop, and then right here lastly I'm gonna get a barrel swivel, and then I'm just gonna do another uni knot like I did in the bottom. Cinch it down. There you go. Trim it up a bit. Okay, so that is the leader. You got your snap, you got your loop, your second loop, and then your barrel swivel where you can attach your main line. So you may be asking, what about the hooks? That is where you can modify it. So for example, I can use anything from these Eagle Claw 2/0 hooks. I love using these when I'm specifically targeting whiting or pompano because they have smaller mouths. So this is a 2/0 right here. This is the size of the 2/0. Tiny hook, just a light tiny piece of shrimp and fish bite, and you're good to go. If I see that I'm catching bigger whiting, or I might start seeing some smaller reds or slot size reds, I can move up to a 4/5/0 circle hook. And then this is in case a big red hits or a decent red hits, this is gonna hold up a little bit better. But don't be fooled, I've caught keeper reds with this tiny little 2/0 hook, but your odds will increase if you use a slightly bigger hook or a hook up on a red. And then if you really just want to start targeting reds, you can use something like this 6/0 or 7/0. You can modify it with bigger hooks or bigger baits, like using cut bait like mullet or even cut whiting to target bigger fish like bull reds. Of course, you can modify this line. You can use thicker mono. You can make bigger loops if you feel like it. These are pretty good. I think these are like 6-inch loops. That's great. They look bigger when they start, but that's why you get so much, because they cinch down and you make them smaller. So here I'm going to use these circle hooks as an example. You get the loop, pinch it together. I'm going to run it through the front. Run it through the front, and then you get this loop and you run it around the hook, and the tip of the loop should come out through the front again, and then just tightening it down, and you got your first one. And you do the same with the other one. And then cinch it. You got that settled. You got both loops, 2 hooks, fish bite and shrimp, and you're good to go. Okay. So that's what the snap swivel is for, because most of my weights have a wire. So a snap swivel was perfect, nothing problem. But some of you might have a different style weight, like this one. You can't really use a snap swivel, especially not this one, because a lot of times you will bend it out and it will mess up this, and you get the chance of losing the weight. But there's a quick solution. The next solution you can use with these and with this. I just like using the snap swivel. That's my touch. I like using it, but you don't need it. So what do you have this style weight where the eye of the weight is built into the weight and not have a wire like this? Simple. Instead of using a snap, what you're gonna do in the bottom is you're gonna make a loop like so, kind of like how we were doing for the hooks, except you're gonna make it easier. You're just gonna do like a double granny knot, doubled over granny knot. So here, this is a small piece just for an example. You get the line, you make the loop, you pinch it together right here. On the top, you get both lines together, and then you pinch it and you make it smaller. You pinch it, more maneuverable, and then you do a regular overhand knot. So you're gonna go and make sure you keep the lines together. One, and then twice. That helps it so it doesn't run. The line won't run on you. And then you tighten it. Like so, you get this loop. And just like you did it with the hooks, you can switch out weights. Just like so. That's a cheaper way of doing it. I just like the snap swivels because it makes it easier. And sometimes if I need to, I can quickly snap on a spoon if I see some schooling fish, and that can help me hopefully hook up to a schooling fish or feeding fish just by reeling it in, slapping on a spoon, and then throwing out after them. But you don't need to. You can use a loop for a weight just like that also. That's it. Hope you all understood what I was trying to do. Super simple, not complicated at all. You guys should have seen some footage of when I went to the beach and I was using the exact same rigs. So here's just a quick recap again. Snap for the weight, then you run it up the line, then you get your first drop, go further up, get your second drop, and then your barrel swivel at the end. You're left with a nice little 3 foot, 2.5 liter. You started off with 5 and you ended up with 2.5. And I don't think I clipped that much on it, honestly. There's very little. But yeah, this is a killer rig for the surf. I recommend it. Try it. But yeah, that's it today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.